What is up, guys? So we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about this whole David situation and, of course, the victim, Celeste. There have been a couple of updates, a couple of things we can go ahead and have a conversation about. Of course, it is a waiting game. You know, I had this question as soon as I found out about the story, like, okay, what's going to happen next? Like, why does it seem like there isn't much motion happening? The police aren't doing anything. At the end of the day, I don't know much of what's going on. Didn't even know who David was about a week ago, but here we are, okay? And it's like, you know, anyone would dream of having the whole world know who they are because of their talent, but instead it's because he could possibly be behind the unaliving of Celeste. I'm not gonna repeat points that I've already mentioned in previous videos, so definitely go ahead and check out those videos if you guys want to get a bit more of a glimpse of how the story even sprung in the first place, and, you know, different screenshots, videos, photos that have been put out about Celeste and David and their relationship. Oh, excuse me, correction, couldn't have been a relationship if she couldn't consent to it. I hear people say stuff like, you know, they're boyfriend and girlfriend. You can't be boyfriend and girlfriend if there's a flipping inappropriate age gap. Whoa, English. Inappropriate age gap. Let's just make that very clear. He groomed her, took advantage of her, apparently been preying on her since she was like 11 years of age, sorry. I see people say stuff like, oh, she don't even flipping look like a flipping minor. She looks older. Shut up. And they're talking about this photo. Everyone keeps using this photo and saying Celeste looks like she was a grown girl. It was giving very much, maybe she lied about her age. Shut up. What we're not gonna do is victim blame. Like I'm not on that side. I'm not victim blaming nobody. The only flipping victim to me as of right now is Celeste Rivers Hernandez. Clock it. People are saying in this photo she looks very, very, very grown. No, she doesn't. She doesn't. And what really bothers me, you're telling me David and his entourage and the people coming in and out of his apartment, where there was constantly streamers, there was influencers, there was celebrities, no one peeped that Celeste looked young. Because you can tell when someone's young. Let's be very clear now. You can. There's always going to be something that's a giveaway, right? And based on the description given about Celeste, her height and her weight, I'm sorry, but like that to me is like, is that really a minor? Like, no one questioned it? Or did anyone care? Okay? Because when it comes to a lot of these streamers, gamers, a lot of people just care about who can bring in the most clout. They don't care who you're rocking with. Like, oh, you guys are throwing a party, I'm there. Any chance to get clicks, clout, any chance to have you in my stream, I'm there. Especially it being up in LA, the Hollywood Hills, specifically. Come on, right? So I'm heavily questioning the entourage. I'm questioning the people who are rolling with David to and from different places. Yeah, there's been a few updates so I want to come and share with you guys, because I don't want to just like sit down here every single day making videos on alleged or talking about this from Reddit and that. No, we're going to go based on some articles that have been put out. I do have a few updates. So number one, the family have made a GoFundMe. If you guys want to donate, I will link it down below. Celeste Rivers Hernandez's body was attracting flies when cops found it in David's car. New revelation. The Los Angeles Police Department revealed that they are following several leads in connection with the body of teen found in singer David's car. David's LA apartment has been searched and several items of evidence were recovered from the rented apartment. Now, he was allegedly renting the place for $20,000 a month. I think the place is like $4 million. But yeah, allegedly he was renting it for $20,000 and it gets crazier. Watch, check this out. So they're trying to find out whether Celeste was staying there with David. Celeste was reported missing on April the 5th, 2024, and her remains were found in David's Tesla trunk on September the 8th, 2025. A strange smell led local people towards the Tesla, and when the body was recovered, it had already started rotting, attracting flies. The investigators have not yet asserted how long Celeste has been dead for, as it could be for days or even weeks. It's such a devastating story, and again, you hear this and you think, what the flip? Like, you automatically get this sense of rage, even though you're not connected to it. You just hear, because when you have a heart and soul, something that I believe David lacked, when you hear a story like this, naturally you're thinking, how much do the parents know? Or her guardians, whoever is, you know, she was living with. Why is it that I'm hearing that Celeste ran away from home for a whole month? Police had to bring her back? 1 month is crazy. And I get it. Kids can tell fibs. Kids can lie about their whereabouts, right? And also, I've been seeing this conversation of like, how much can you safeguard your child? You know, what should you be having their passwords? Let me know what you guys think about that, because I'm actually kind of like, been thinking this anyways, but when you hear a story like this, it's definitely giving like, sure. I think everyone's entitled to their own privacy, but at the end of the day, I know how humans can operate. And I feel like bringing a child to this world, and this is why I don't think every parent is fit to be parents. Point blank period. We've seen it. We see so many kids get taken away from their mom, dad. They're just not fit to be parents. And it's very selfish what some people are doing. I don't know if that's what's happening in the Hernandez family. I'm not going to even try to do a little bit of that, right? Because I do believe that they are grieving and going through their own thing. And who knows, maybe their conscience isn't clear. Maybe they feel like they didn't do enough. I don't know. Your number one job of being a parent for your child is to protect them through everything and anything. Now, life is gonna lie. Things are gonna get in the way. There's only so much you can do, but you wanna make sure you have them real close to you, especially when they're hella young. Of course, there's gonna come a time where they gotta move on, leave the house, have their own family, do their own thing. But even then, I still believe I'm gonna be checking on their well-being because they're still my little baby, even though they're grown now, right? Let alone for a little child. So I just don't understand how a kid can go missing for a whole... A kid can just be on... The kid can leave school for a whole month. What was happening at home? What was the dynamic at home? Apparently it was this thing where she would constantly leave, go to her cousins, leave. Like, she was up and away. And that possibly is because David was constantly touring as well. Had work obligations, right? Celeste is probably thinking, I can spend the rest of my life with this man. And again, don't need to blame Celeste for nothing. She was taken advantage of and she was groomed. Only God knows the types of things that he was spreading in her head. Especially because we know he loves the dark-ish. We know what type of time he's on. David was renting the LA home for $20,000 a month, but the owner did not know that David was living there. Really? So there's a case here, there's a case here. Now apparently there's another one. Like, what do you mean you didn't know David was... Like, what? Okay. As a singer's manager rented the apartment, this all came as a complete shock to me. Maiden, I can't pronounce his last name, told Rolling Stone. So everyone's just flipping shickety shockety shook, yeah? I'm trying to make sense of this story. But I'm also like, I'm not the authorities. There's only so much I can do. I'm just a general public. Just looking at a story like this and just praying for justice. And I hope every angle is covered. I hope that pieces to this puzzle is solved for the sake of little old Celeste, because that's what she deserves. After Rivers' body was found, her family broke their silence, launching a GoFundMe titled Help Lay Celeste Rivers Hernandez to Rest. As many of you know, Celeste Rivers Hernandez has been identified as the body found last week. Organizers Esmeralda Lonzano and Giselle Vera wrote, she was a beloved daughter, sister, cousin and friend. Her family is heartbroken and devastated by this tragic loss. They are seeking help to lay her body to rest. Any funds you are able to donate are greatly appreciated. They signed off as the Rivers Hernandez family. Lozano and Vera also shared that her service was scheduled for October the 5th. So that's coming up. And again, rest in peace. Like, rest in peace. It always angers me when, you know, there is the burial, there's the laying of the body, but it's like the people still don't have their answers. Justice hasn't actually been served. Now, what's going on behind the scenes with the police departments, authorities, we don't know. I just hope something is done. That's all I can hope and pray. Didn't know Celeste, didn't know any of the people mentioned. Again, I just have a heart. And it's one of those stories that just send a chill down your body because you almost forget that there are such disgusting, evil people out there, you know? A California community held a vigil yesterday in memory of Celeste, demanding justice. David was in the middle of a world tour when the body was found. In the wake of the controversy, several of his international tours have been cancelled, and rightfully so. Everyone's washing their hands on David. Anyone with common sense anyways. I saw this headline here that said, David case receives major update as Celeste Rivers' body returned to family. This is so sad. I'm sorry, but whenever I see a photo of her, I just automatically think of the group of people who say Celeste didn't look like a minor. What do you mean? Apparently one of her, like, I can't remember what app it was, but her profile picture was My Little Pony. Wait, let me do that again. My Little Pony. I don't know which one I prefer, but either way, yes. If you guys don't know what My Little Pony is, it's something that kids enjoy. I remember My Little Pony. I think I liked that when I was like 7, 8. Very childish, a childlike thing to do, okay? When I look at Celeste personally, wouldn't assume that she's like this grown-ass woman that you guys are trying to make her into. And also, even if she lied about her age, David doesn't strike me as someone who cared. I think David had been new. She was young. I think you can always tell when someone is young. Let's stop playing now. Especially when you're around them, you can see body language, tone. Like, stop playing with me. The internet is trying it. There are too many David defenders. I'm like, what tricks do you have up your nasty sleeves? Like, who are you? Anyways, allegedly, someone who lives within like her neighborhood was saying that I don't know how true this is, but when Celeste went missing, not once did anyone notify them. They weren't knocking on neighbors. Hey, have you seen this girl? They weren't doing that. Now that's what you would usually do if someone's gone missing. You would ask the neighbors, like, please be on the lookout. Have you seen her? This is what she was last wearing. Blah, 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 blah. Apparently, Celeste's family wasn't doing that. I hope that's not true, because that is not a good look. Now I get it. We're in a day and age of social media. Everyone and anyone can say anything. People can pretend. I can flip and pretend to be from the same neighborhood she's at, right? All while being here in London. There are people who just say anything just for the sake of saying anything. So we have to remember, we can't take everything we see from these pages as gospel, because it just isn't. Whoever did this, I hope you were dealt with. I truly hope you're dealt with. Like, throw away the key. Dismembered is insane. This case is being investigated as a homicide, which again is a love word we know he loves. While no suspect has been named, LAPD served a search warrant. How was she able to get tattoos? She's a minor. Following the police raid at his home, it was revealed that David has terminated his lease on a property in the Hollywood Hills. The actual owner of the property expressed his disbelief at the circumstances. He attested that the management had gotten in touch with him to ask for an early lease termination, stating that they could no longer reside there. I mean, they could afford it, so what was the reason to not reside there? Is it because they're flipping Tesla over there with human remains? Like, what? Like, the tattoo, the matching tattoos is not a coincidence to me. Again, like, that being a tattoo is something that I know Lana Del Rey has, Rihanna has it, but in the context of this, where they were in a romantic relationship where obviously nobody would approve of because, it's disgusting, adds another layer of just disgust for me. Allegedly, a couple days ago, he was logged into Fortnite because he doesn't give a flying monkey about what's going on right now. His team and legal team possibly are encouraging him to lay low. For a Gen Z, they believe laying low is like, don't hop in the game. You know, go back to where you started. You are disgusting. You are disgusting. You're just out here playing Fortnite. Apparently, people are commenting stuff like, do not take your own life. Like, justice needs to be served. Do you think he's actually flipping deep in those comments? He doesn't care. He doesn't. You can't comment on his Instagram, obviously. Everyone's wiping their hands on him. You've even got so-called friends who once upon a time up his ass, now dissociated from him. I know Jason has. You know, he made an update stream saying he's shocked and he doesn't side with David not once. Not one bit, sorry. Nobody F's with you. And anybody who does F with you, very much look closely to them. I need to know more about this entourage that David was rolling with. You're telling me that she was possibly at this home, yeah? In and out. Running away from home. God knows what she witnessed at these parties, by the way. And that's not me trying to start anything, but I'm just saying, a little minor being around grown folks, it's just, come on, there's drinking there. There's probably a bunch of girls there, like, come on, like, language being used, you know what I mean? Like, she should not have been exposed to so much so soon, but she was. And that's the harsh reality. And that's why people do question family. Like, okay, where were you guys at? Now, let's touch a little bit more on family, because it's so easy to point the finger, I understand that. But when I do hear that a child had been gone for a month, again, I know kids can go on the run. I know kids can go missing. I know sometimes it's got nothing to do with family. They can come from the best, most loving, nice family, but it's like, yeah, but what actions and measures were you taking? Can you really say from the bottom of your heart, you really did enough? I'm sorry, but if I hear a sibling of mine went missing, all hell will break loose. Why? Because I love them and I care. And I need to do my duty of just alerting as many people as possible, doing my part, alerting the police, doing that as soon as possible, even spamming up the police to the point where they're like, girl, has it been more than 24? I hate when they do that when I'm watching movies and stuff like that. And they're like, but has it been more than 24? It's like, she's gone missing. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on. That's what I would do. In fact, that's what I know my family would do. Could Celeste really say that her family cared for her? And this is no shade or anything. I'm just asking these questions that I think low-key you guys would ask as well, okay? This story is flipping all over the place, isn't it? So yeah, I mean, I know people are like, why hasn't he been arrested yet? Because they're trying to build a case. And it's going to take time. They don't want to have to bring him in for him to then be dismissed in a couple of hours or even 24 hours. They want to build this case and make sure they have everything. David might think he's smart, but I don't think he would get away with this if he was truly behind the unaliving of Celeste Rivers Hernandez, yeah? Had her whole life ahead of her. Was taken advantage of, preyed upon from the age of 11. What do you want with an 11-year-old? Lock up, please don't let him out. Sorry, it's the whole Fortnite for me. Hopping onto Fortnite. The audacity and cheek. Popping in your password. Setting up the PlayStation. Or where do you flip and play Fortnite? I don't know, innit? I'm not a gamer. Okay? It's the audacity and cheek for me. I see people like say stuff like, you know, Netflix is ready with their next series. I really just believe that. I really just believe that. Because that's how, like, yeah, there's gonna be some sort of documentary, probably like I was gonna say a year's time, but low-key, high-key, maybe even like 9 months. Not even kidding, because that's how Netflix operates. They will always capitalize off of a story that has nothing to do with them. And they will always profit off of what? A story that has what? Nothing to do with them. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. What's done in the dark will come to light. And if anyone thinks they can get away with this in this situation, you're not going to. Well, at least I hope. Because we hear so many of these horror stories where, like, no, the murderer is still walking and roaming the streets freely. Still able to have fresh air. I think it's kind of normalized, this whole, like, pedophilia, grooming. Again, it reminds me of, like, the whole Aaliyah R. Kelly situation where, like, family was okay with her dating a flipping grown-ass man because he was what? R. Kelly. You know? He was that guy, he had the money, he came the fame and fortune. People love, like, some people just will pimp out their kids. Some people will pimp out a family member because what? Cha-ching, because of the check. And you know what? People love themselves what? Money. They do. People would, some people, in fact, no, most people would do anything for money. Some people are not going to touch millions in their life. Some people are not going to touch thousands. So if someone like an R. Kelly is coming and say, hey, I've got this, I will take care of this family in the process, I would do this, I would do that, she's taken care of. Some tapped parents, again, not everyone's fit to be parents, yeah, will see that as like, oh my God. This is such an insane story. I'm sorry, I can't get over that. But anyways, guys, again, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section, and I'll catch you guys real soon for a brand new video. Bye.